again. But if you want to participate, you can enter anything in the chat at any time, or you can just unmute and let it rip. I don't know, raise a hand, whatever, however you guys want to do this. I'm not very formal. So I think I'm wearing a blanket if that's any indication. So cravings. Now, when it comes to binging, it doesn't have to be, and you guys have probably heard me say this to you at some point, it doesn't have to be that binging is some all out, like massive amounts of food all around you and hiding, you know, every single night. And like, that's the extreme. Binging can be not being able to have one of something without it becoming all of that something. Binging can be, you know, deciding and saying, oh, screw it, I had a rough day, and eating something that you know is going to make it harder for you to get to your goals. You know, binging comes in a lot of forms, but basically what it is usually either a punishment or a comfort. It's usually, well, what the hell is the point? You know, I'm not going to lose weight anyway. I didn't even lose, you know, the funniest thing is I have clients who they don't lose weight in a week because they thought that they would, and then they want to go sabotage that and eat more. And it's like, well, you didn't lose weight in the week, but you're definitely not going to if you do that. But the brain at that moment is like, and tell me if you guys can relate and give me a nod of the head or whatever. But in that moment, it's like, well, what's the use? This one letdown is just another nail in the coffin of me never losing weight. So what the hell's the point? I'm either going to eat what's comfortable, or I'm going to eat what's convenient, what's not going to help me do any better, because I'm not going to do well anyway. You guys give me a nod or a comment in the chat if you've ever felt like that, or if you can relate to that. You know, it's super defeating. When we hinge what happens in our life on food, it's like saying there's no control in our part. Life is just happening at us, and we're going to treat it accordingly with the food around us, even though it's one of the things that are plaguing us the most is our weight, you know, or our symptoms. So you either eat to punish, or it's some kind of comfort where there's a rationalization. You know, we've all heard of comfort foods, and some people, you know, they don't get guilty from it, and that's great. But having the fallback or the reward, or having earned, you know, something that in the long run is going to hurt you, isn't something that's actually a reward. You know, it's something that's going to make your inflammation worse. It's going to affect your hormones. It's going to affect your sleep. You know, it's going to affect your, you know, next time you step on the scale and it's not what you want it to be, there's the guilt and the hopelessness that comes then. But in that moment, it's very logical to just eat the thing that's convenient, or eat the thing that smells really good, or eat the thing that, you know, we've just had a stressful hell of a ringer of a day. All I want is just one donut. And then how often does that one become many? Or that one become even easier to splurge again and again after it because you already did it once? So having control, now knowing these feelings that you feel surrounding cravings. Of course, there's a hormonal component to it, which we work on privately together, you know, for each one of you guys. But having control of the thoughts of the cravings is just, it's a nice concept to be disciplined and be able to not have cravings on willpower alone, you know, but that's just not how it is. Knowing the feelings that you have surrounding your cravings, surrounding your binging episodes, and, you know, feeling so guilty about it, being in there and sitting in that, you can now think, what are some things I can do instead? What are some thought processes I can think of instead? Or how can I view this as what it is instead of what my brain is emotionally making me think it is? And if I want to eat the damn thing, how can I do that and not make myself feel like a failure? Or how can I eat that thing and say to myself, is it worth what it's going to do to my body right now? Health-wise, pain-wise, metabolism-wise, everything. And if it is, enjoy it. Actually enjoy it, and not be like, oh man, I'm going to gain like 15 pounds now, because that doesn't happen from just one, you know? So having these questions you can ask yourself. I don't want you to view your cravings and your splurges as bad. You know, whenever I catch up with someone, And how many times have one of you guys who have been on a few calls with me get on the call and go, I was bad, or I fell off. And I'm like, no such thing as bad. I am not that kind of person that does this. Like, let's learn from it. Why did you eat it? Was it just timing? Was it just hunger? Was it emotion? There are real situations that play into our cravings that I think we need to stop blaming ourselves so much for them. Of course, take responsibility, but it's not like we just suck. There's a lot that goes into what makes us crave the things we know deep down logically are not helping us. And sometimes it's just okay to just enjoy it and keep moving. So I want to see some thoughts at least in the chat on so far what I've talked about. What are you guys getting from this? What's really speaking to you?
I think for me, like the convenience factor of
Summer, I think you are Lizzie, sorry. I think you are muted. Or you're unmuted. I can't hear you.
I muted it. Do you hear me now?
Is your microphone on?
Here. Yeah. Hold on one second.
Or it might be if you click audio.
Where is that? Maybe it's built-in output system.
Sorry, I like don't even know. I'm so tech challenged. It's a miracle I'm even on here. Like, this is like, call me Steve Jobs,
Okay, so other people are saying they hear me, so I don't know. Hi, everybody.
I can't hear you, so you know what? Oh, you can. Everyone else can hear.
I can hear, yeah.
I'm so bad at spelling, so I apologize if I spell this word completely wrong. The convenience factor of stuff is like a huge thing. Like, I definitely fall into that with like, oh, I'm so like busy or like on the go today. So like, I'm just going to grab whatever might be in the pantry and like, just like that stuff,
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like sometimes it's easier to rationalize it as, oh, it's just once, and not look at it as like a pattern overall? Like, if ever you're like, you know what, I'm really beat, it's right there. It's just this once, it's not going to hurt. But then that becomes a pattern in itself.
Oh, absolutely. Because I like, up until I sort of started like working with you and like really trying to be cognizant of, okay, like stop and think, like, what am I doing? Or am I even really hungry? Because I definitely like fall into boredom eating. And like I definitely, even writing it down and stuff, I've definitely noticed more where it's like, oh, I'm not just doing this like once a week. This is like every day. This needs to stop. Like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's easy, and it's not always the person who's crying as soon as they've, have eaten something that's bad. A lot of times it's not, a lot of times it's just oh, wow, damn, I did that, huh? Like that sets in, and it's like we kind of skim over the fact that things can become a pattern very easily.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share anything? By the way, real human moment. I had it on mute. I had my volume on mute.
So for me, Michelle, I think not just convenience. I find that convenience tricks me into eating unhealthy, but anxiety. Like, when I'm having an emotionally draining and stressful day, I give none. And I just go for the cereal, I go for the chips, and I don't really care because I feel like my problems are bigger than what food choice I'm making in that moment. But as you can see, it's coming back to bite me. So, and I always end up tired the next day and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, that could be a few things. I definitely understand what you're talking about. There's nothing more comforting, I think, than when you've had a super anxiety racked day to be in a quiet room with the TV screen in front of you, like just playing you something slow, and you're like eating, just not even like, I do that. I still have, that's why I have to keep stuff around that's like I can do that with. But the anxiety ridden days become very easy for you to be like, immediately seeking that comfort, that immediate gratification,
Yeah.
Can I ask, what are some of those things that like you keep on hand that, are kind of maybe you would consider freebies?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you guys my one of the recipes. So I asked you guys, I want to give you guys individualized recipes. Like I did with the 5-day plan, everything like that. And when I was asking you guys about your cravings, I was like, I don't even know what recipe to give them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys different convertible recipes, like things that you can make that are easily used in a bunch of different snack situations that you can just have on hand. And I still have to master the cereal replacement. That's the one I miss too, that I really have to master because it gets all mouchad and disgusting in the milk, and I can't be bothered. But so I'll give you guys some tips and tricks for chips and snacks and stuff to keep around towards the end of the Zoom, for sure.
Sweet. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else want to share, their own binge craving story?
I think that mine is a mixture of the two of the first three spots. Like, I have extremely busy days and I'm working really hard, and I either don't plan ahead enough or am like more hungry than I expected, and end up having to go find something that isn't maybe ideal at the moment because I've misplanned kind of thing.
Yeah. And then do you ever kind of like kick your own ass too because you're like, damn it, I misplanned, and like that adds to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. Like hangry, when I'm hangry and I don't have I don't have anything around me and I feel like it's my own damn fault that I didn't plan well enough and I'm hangry on top. I'm hangry at my damn self. I'm like, oh, it's the worst. But I feel you on that for sure. There's a lot that goes into cravings. And, aside from what we're talking about, the fact that we actually have hormonal imbalances and different illnesses that are adding fuel to that fire is literally telling us eat those things. There's also something called under eating. So if you don't eat throughout the day, which a lot of people, and I find a lot of women with chronic illness since the time I started doing this, I notice it, all have that same barely eat during the day ass schedule. I notice it where you just kind of like, you get in your little bits in the morning, or, you grab your coffee and then you just drink coffee to keep pushing through because you're so friggin' tired and so like out of focus that you don't stop to just and eat. Even if you eat during the day, it's like shoving it down your pie hole to like get back to it, or you're on the go, or it's not what you want to eat that's laying around. You're just like, man, I don't even know what I'm in the mood for. And then before you know it, 3 p.m. hits, you can barely vocalize a sentence, and you're like, coffee or this thing that I know I shouldn't really eat, it's not even really worth it, but it's here and I'm starving. And that's when you're at your like lowest willpower because you're beat, you're stressed from the day, you're like hungry as hell, and your body's actually forcing you. It's releasing hunger hormones that are telling you, feed me, eat whatever you can find because I haven't had calories in hours and I need to eat to sustain you and your illness-riddled body. I get it because I got illness-riddled body too. But, it's literally biological factors that are making it harder on you. So, I want to talk about, I'm sorry, I have my notes here so I don't go off on my ADD tangents. And before you know it, it's like midnight and we're chatting. No, but I want to talk about the voice, the things that we hear when this is going on. I want you guys to pay attention to the rationalizing that's happening when you eat something. When you know that there's something in front of you and you know that, it tastes good, but it's not like, it's not like a once in a million. It's not like when I went to Italy and I was like, should I have pasta now that I'm in Italy? It's not like one of those foods, but it's there, and it's good. But I want you to pay attention to the logic that goes on. Or I want you to stop for a second before you have it. Ask yourself, why do I want it? Is there a solution? Is it worth 10 extra minutes on my feet to make a chocolate cake in the microwave and have that and know that I can eat the whole damn thing. Because for me, I don't know about you guys, having free reign on portions is a huge load off my back. I can't stand portion control. And it's not because I trough food down my throat, but it's because it's the idea of not being satisfied and not being allowed to have any more if I want it. That really just, it feels awful. So hearing the thought process that's going on, saying to yourself, you know, why do I want this so bad? If it's a special occasion, if it's a time you're never going to have that again, or it's going to be like months until you can even have that thing again, you want to have some of it, sure. If it's just that your friend brought a bag of chips over and it's the first time chips have been in your house in like months and it's like contraband, have a couple chips, but don't go digging back in the bag. You know, try and find an alternative for you to get the majority of your munching out of the way with, and have a chip or two if you really want that bad, you know. But hearing the voice in your head as to why you really want the craving, it gives you back a little bit of control. You're not immediately saying, you know, I'm having this craving, I must fight it. You don't have to do that. You just got to ask yourself why your brain is telling you that you need that right now, and if it is at all possible, logically, to replace it at that moment. If you do give into a cheat and you're really like, that was a waste, I don't want you to give it 2 more thoughts. What I want you to do, if there's one thing you take away from this, if you give into a silly cheat or a treat, I hate the word cheat, but silly treat that really wasn't worth it all that much, I want you to take 5 seconds to be bummed about it. And then I want you to literally put into your planner going and getting the ingredients to make yourself a snack substitute that's similar. Put in your planner if you got to look up that recipe, but put an action step in place so you feel power after giving into a craving instead of this is going to happen forever. You know, take that power back into your hands. You know, if you get home from work and you're like, oh, I'm beat, have stuff at home that you can just slop together and it's going to fill you. It's going to be yummy. You're going to eat and you're going to feel good about it at the end of the day. Instead of saying, I'm so tired, I'm going to order a pizza. Or I'm so tired, you know, I'm just going to go on Seamless, or I'm going to order it off the app or something like that. I don't know if everybody's got Seamless and Grubhub where you're at, but it's very dangerous here. Oh, it's all the takeout places locally, all of them in an app. You can just order it, it gets delivered. Super dangerous for money and for the body. But besides that, you know, in the time that it takes to wait for your food to be delivered to you, could you really, using the stuff you have at home, whip up a meal real quick? Are there other things you can order on the menu and kind of zhuzh up? So here are some, I'm going to give you guys some tips. I don't even know where we're at on time. So I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to have plans in place to avoid those helpless cravings, those helpless binge moments that really feel defeating. So the first thing is know thy takeout. So there are ways to finesse takeout food like any which way you go. And if you have trouble with this, some of you guys have you just started the program, but Christina, Rachel can tell you, you can text me. If I don't get back to you right away, it's because I'm friggin' swamped, but I'm good with the substitutes. I love it. It's like a puzzle. But there are ways to kind of zhuzh your food at, let's say, give me a takeout place you guys want, and I will tell you a way to make something happen. This is fun. This is a game.
Burger King.
Okay, so you don't have it with the bun. I know that sounds lame, but you know what? It's still freaking good. Don't have it with the bun. I'm trying to think what else they have there. You can get grilled chicken, like a grilled chicken sandwich without the bun, and you can slice that up into chicken strips. If you need something that's dunkable, just get one of their grilled chicken sandwiches, get one of their plastic knives, cut it up into strips. Don't get grossed out if it gets all over your fingers, and that gives you that dippable thing. That's all I can think of off the top of my head that Burger King serves at this moment. But what else? Stump me. Let's see here. Chinese food. Okay. So if you've never had mushu before at a Chinese place, it's great. It's like some kind of cabbage. It's like the inside of an egg roll, basically, with meat, the meat that you choose. And you're supposed to put them into like little like pancakes they give you that you fold it up and everything. They make you do the work. And the pancakes are okay, but they taste a little bit like copy paper. So they're not all that vital. It's mostly just like the flavor of the mushu that covers it up. So you can eat it without the copy paper wraps. The chicken and broccoli and stuff like that you can get with the sauce on the side, and just get gluten-free soy sauce that you have. Mix it up with a little bit of mayo. I know it sounds weird, but it's really good if you dunk your chicken and broccoli in that. The shrimp, any of the main meat dishes or whatever you can do that with. Egg drop soup, just be careful because they add cornstarch to it, so stick to like the little container. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other takeout inquiries? Nope. Okay. So anywhere you go, get a salad, load that bad boy up. I know salads are boring, but you can put any meats, any cheese combo, avocados, get eggs up in there, get some bacon, just go crazy. You know, if you load it up, it gets really, really good and really, really filling. Any sandwich without the bun, most places do lettuce wrap now. Chick-fil-A has, I think it's Chick-fil-A, yeah, has a keto menu. Not that we follow strict keto in here, but it helps knowing it's low carb. Any diner or restaurant, you can get grilled chicken with sauce and cheese melted on top of it. You know, if you go to a place that offers anything Parmesan, they have the capabilities to do that with grilled chicken. So you don't have the breading. Big tip, don't let them bring a bread basket to your damn dinner table. Nope. We don't need bread. We're good. Trust me, because I can't resist. That's why I'm saying that. Oh, Greek is so easy. I love it. If you like gyro, I'm half Greek. Doing a Greek salad with the gyro meat is great. Yeah, seriously, they're one of the easiest places to convert into like lower carb. Just don't get the bread. That's basically it. And watch out for those Greek fries, which are like my favorite. Yeah. So you know, guys, when people bring French fries to my house, I have gotten to the point where in the past I would like want to binge on them. And now I can have 3 French fries, be like, yes, maybe like 5, but I got my fix, and like I can move on with my night, and it's never hindered my weight. So just keep that in mind. You know, we put the power behind the food. It's not the other way around. So awesome. Yeah. So when you go to takeout, either try to think, what is the carb element in what I want right now? How can I eradicate that or replace that with something else? Now, be careful I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent. Some of the replacement recipes for desserts, for example, the 90-second bread. The 90-second bread can be made into waffles. It can be made into cake by adding sweetener and cocoa powder, or sweetener and cinnamon. You can make a really quick icing out of cream cheese, powdered sweetener, vanilla extract, and just whip it up. You know, there are ways that you can you don't have to put on the big Pinterest elaborate, like, you know, those recipes online where it's like they tell you about their dogs, their kids, the color of their bedroom, like everything before you get to the recipe at the bottom. You don't got to do all that. It's so easy. So you just don't have to sit there and scroll through all that. 90-second bread, add some sweetener, add some cocoa powder, mix it up. It's a cake. So, and then you make some kind of frosting. We have recipes on the Pudge page. If you guys are not in there, let me know. And that takes 5 minutes. You know, it takes more time to go out and get the food you want, or I don't even know, if you just have it in your pantry, get rid of it. What's it doing in there? You know, but it's easy to replace the cravings. But what you got to listen to is the dialogue. you'll see how easy it is and how much more energy you have than you think you have. When you logically go, all right, it takes 5 minutes to make. It's really not all that much more than just standing there and opening the package. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to eat the whole damn cake when I do it. That's the process that you can get to by really thinking about it in the moment and not just letting that craving tell you what to do. Okay. Crackers. You guys said that you like chips, you like crackers, stuff like that. The pizza dough that we have on the webpage, Pudge page, that can be rolled out super thin and made into crackers. If you want like more of like a cookie, like a shortbread, last night in the Pudge page, I posted that tart that I made with the chocolate mousse and the graham cracker crust. Super easy. So you just toast. I gotta give you guys the small recipe, so don't pay attention. I'm not gonna give you measurements now because I'm gonna tell you the recipe for an 8-inch tart dish. But it's basically just you take your nut flour that you're using, you roast it in a pan like you toast it. Just put it in a dry pan and stir it until it gets brown and smells good. You mix it with powdered sugar or sweetener, cinnamon, butter. Mix it all up, press it into a baking dish, and bake it at like 400 until it's crispy looking. That's it. You press it really thin, and once you bake it, you take it out. You can break it up into pieces. That's what I'm going to test for your guys' cereal. A bunch of you guys asked me about cereal for a craving. So this week, I'm going to test it out, rolling it out really thin and baking it. So I'll keep you posted on that. But try to think about easy ones. Because if you go on Pinterest when you're having a craving, girl, anyone would give up. I'd be like, what the hell is I going to mess my whole house up? Use every bowl I have in my kitchen to make this over elaborate Pinterest dessert when all I want is, the pint of ice cream that's good to go in my freezer. Of course. So make it easy on yourselves. Plan for those moments of weakness by having, you have 5 minutes. You take your morning poop, just go on Pinterest, find simple recipes, and try to make them your own. And use me. Text me. Ice cream. So I'm working on the texture because you need I know this from culinary school, you need to have the machine churning it to get the texture, but the taste we got pretty down pat. You just take sugar-free chocolate pudding mix. You replace the liquid in the recipe on the box of how they tell you to make it with heavy cream. Mix it up, put it in the freezer. I mean, it's not the texture of nice churned ice cream, but it was really good. It was like frozen custard kind of, which was awesome. But we're going to get a little baby ice cream machine to try and put it through next time. So, but you can buy Breyer's Carb Smart Halo Top. Some people say Halo Top tastes like a protein shake to them. I kind of like it. I don't know. Nick went on a Halo Top spree a few months ago where we were eating $40 worth of Halo Top a week. I was like, we got to stop. This is crazy. So, chips, good one for chips. Pepperoni, put them on a baking sheet, broil them don't have them all clumped together and stuff, but spread them out evenly on a baking sheet with parchment paper. And broil them until they get crispy. I sprinkle garlic powder and Italian seasoning over the top, and that makes them, taste a little bit like pizza. I love them. You could get a slicer that slices veggies really, really thin if you don't have it, and slice up zucchini and either bake them, fry them, or if you want to be real fancy, or you want to get a wedding registry full of useless shit you'll never use, get yourself a food dehydrator. Like I have above my fridge that I've never opened. My wedding was almost 2 years ago. But anyway, you can dehydrate stuff too. If you're into gadgets and stuff, I always say I have the time to be. Yeah, dehydrated veggies are awesome. So weird. Cucumber slices is a great one. You can do that. You can do a few root vegetables have similar effects as potatoes. Nothing will ever replace a potato. I love potatoes. They're my favorite carb. Oh, So nothing will replace them, but there are some good things to kind of like give you something really yummy if you don't want to have the potatoes, because the starches are harsh on our bodies. Radishes, you can actually boil them. They become very mild. You boil them and you can use them for potato salad. You could slice them up and use them for hash browns. There's turnips. You can make fries out of those. Again, don't expect French fries. There will never be, but they're pretty good still. Yeah, just a lot of shit you can do. So I wish I had a more formal recipe to give you guys, but I kind of wanted to spend, more time talking about the power of cravings and the dialogue that it causes and the questions you could ask yourself when you're in the heat of that moment to really take back your own power. And I think in doing that, I want you guys to go scour the Pudge page after this. I want you to go find those easy staple type recipes. And I'm going to challenge you guys to try and use them throughout this week. Try and make a batch of cookies if that's what you're craving. Make a batch of crackers with the pizza dough if that's what you're craving. Eat during the day so you're not super ravenous and weak at the end of the day where you're just like, give me literally anything. Like tell me I made this new page for us, just us, that are in my current paid programs. And I'm going to put the recording of these each week in there. I still would love for you guys to be on here personally to ask for feedback. But I'm also going to post a couple recipes in there. And I want you guys to share if you find a craving substitute, if you find some awesome thing that like is definitely going to become one of your staples in your everyday, whatever it is, share it in that page. Okay. And then I will keep posting little easy recipes in there for you guys as well. So now is kind of just the Q&A time. I know that I feel like I rushed through the beginning part, but I wanted to give you guys floor to ask questions or share anything. Pick my brain. Or what's left of it. And
okay. I have a question, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm new, by the way, but I bought the erythritol and I bought granulated erythritol. I bought like a 5-pound bag of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was I supposed to get powdered?
No, this is going to be awesome. Do you have like a NutriBullet or a Ninja or a blender, like a food processor?
I have a NutriBullet.
Yeah, well, that's what we use. You just throw it in your NutriBullet and you just kind of pulse it until it becomes powder.
What is that for?
Just to make powdered sugar. So you can make powdered erythritol. So one thing about erythritol is it has kind of like you'll know it if you've had it or when you do have it. It doesn't have an aftertaste at all, but it gets cold. It tastes cold, which is like an odd sensation, but it's like it's worth it. I don't know, to me at least. It doesn't give you the runs. It doesn't have an aftertaste. Like I'm sold, So I'm an easy sell. But if you powder it, it makes it a lot less of an effect. It doesn't stay grainy, so like the texture is better. If you're mixing it with some kind of a frosting recipe, you can use that instead, and it just dissolves. I like using powdered better than it in its granular form for sure, but it's an easy fix. You just turn that bad boy into powder. So
I will say I think you need a high-powered blender to do it. I tried to do it in my food processor and it did not work. I ended up using a mortar and pestle and like crushing it instead of like whipping it. And that worked. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. But I think you need like high-powered to get it to actually break up, unless you've tried it with, and maybe it's just my processor.
I've powdered it with a food processor before. I know that it gets like clumpy very easily, so you have to like just pulse it. But I know that they're all different. For me, we use our NutriBullet. It's basically our food processor. The NutriBullet powers through the powdered stuff like that. I don't even know how it'd be in a regular blender. Probably not powerful enough. The granules would probably just bounce around and like do nothing. But yeah, NutriBullets work fine.
I wonder if like a coffee grinder.
Yeah, that would work. Mm-hmm. That would work fine too. I know for me, Christina says, I know for me, if my hormones are going to be wacky, I get all tired, just want to give up and be like, I'll be fine tomorrow. Is that where the cake would come in? Meaning, if your hormones are all out of whack and you're exhausted and you want to just give up and eat the easy thing, and you'll be like, I'll be fine tomorrow. Christina, are you asking like that? Is that where the 90-second bread cake would come in, so to speak? Just so I can be clear and answer your question. Cool. Okay. So yeah, if you are really craving something, but it's a craving that's so bad that it's literally the only thing that'll make you get up out of your bed and you're in that mode. Yeah, I would make you a cake. Make yourself a cake. And I think 4 minutes start to finish. If you know that you're going to have a stressful week ahead and you know that your body tends to flare up when you're having a stressful week, or you're not going to get a lot of sleep that week and that's what makes you flare. Start paying attention to those things so you cannot be afraid of it or stressed like, oh, that week's going to suck. Now you know, and now you can do something about it. So leading up to that, if you have that thought where you're like, oh, it's going to suck, take time that night, put it in your planner so it happens, because if it don't go in there, it doesn't happen. Put in your planner that night you're going to pre-batch your ingredients. So you don't need to stand there making a ton of these cakes, because that in itself, let's be real, when you feel like crap, who wants to do that? When you're feeling great, who wants to do that? No, never does anybody say, I'm really in the mood. I'm really in the mood to make about 4 different cakes and store them in the freezer tonight. Like, nobody feels that way. So what you do is you pre-batch in sandwich bags the ingredients you need, and you keep them together for like the cake, let's say. So if you have your butter quartered off into 3 tablespoon amounts in a sandwich bag, you have your almond flour measured, your baking soda measured, everything, and it's ready to go, and you just got to dump it and microwave it. That's it. It takes 2 seconds. Sometimes gathering the ingredients is the most strenuous part. So you can take that out of the way and just pre-measure and have aside your ingredients for the week, knowing that if you need it, you can do it in a minute or two. I'm a fan of that one, right? I'm like, all this time, and I'm thinking, it came to me because I was like, 90-second bread is a little dry by nature. When you add the sweetener and the cocoa powder to it, it's not that dry. But I was like, I don't know how this keeps. Also, this is a big ass cake. My freezer's full. Like, I don't know what to. And then I was like, why don't I just separate the ingredients? It works out pretty well. Another thing is make picking foods for yourself, especially if you're going to have a bad week or a hard week, because that's another tempting time. Pay attention to the times that you're most tempted. Is it when you're just laying down and you just need to nosh on something? If you don't feel like, getting up and making something, even though you planned on it, and you're really thinking about dialing or like ordering something, or just having your man's pick something up on the way home that's like not good for you because he can eat whatever he wants and lose weight and you can't. Like, knowing that, pre-make a batch of the chips. Like, I make such an overabundance of food sometimes, and just to save, and I sometimes don't save it, but that's how I pre-plan. Have picking food. Sometimes it's not about the meal. If you feel like crap, you just want to go lay down, you don't even want to eat dinner, at least you can take something in your room with you and just kind of pick at.
Besides the chips and stuff, do you have other like picking food? Because I normally find that like I just want something, but I'm not a chip person. I've never been a chip person, so like I end up like staring at my fridge like, why is there nothing in here?
What do you tend to crave or want, rather?
I either crave sweet or like protein, like savory meat kind of flavors instead of like chip kind of things.
Okay, awesome. Do you like ham and cheese? So if you take cold cut ham and cheese and roll it up and then put it on a plate, like a microwave safe dish, and microwave it for like, I don't know, until the cheese is melty on the inside, maybe like 10 seconds, 50 seconds, whatever, gauge it. I suck, in case you guys haven't realized, I suck with measurements and times because I do a lot of stuff just by gauging it. But you have like melted cheese on the inside of ham. It's like the best. And you can have a bunch of those roll-ups and it's just, they're awesome. Something called queso friere, if you've seen it in your local supermarket. I said that like, I was like, queso friere, but it's awesome. It's like an inexpensive cheese. You just slice it up and you put it in a pan with some butter and you just brown the sides of it. And they're like, oh my God, I'm drooling. I might make it after this. They're like grilled mozzarella sticks. We go from queso friere to mozzarella, but anyway. But again, you can chop them up like, into sticks. And then that's something that helps a lot of people have that kind of like hand to mouth kind of craving, which seems silly, but it's real. You can do that. That's savory. It's so good. What else? Pepperoni chips. Bacon's always a good one. Avocado. We can make like a little quick avocado cherry tomato salad with the dressing that I put in the 5 days of recipes. It's just like my favorite. Feta cubes. I'm getting hungry. There's a lot. So I will definitely, maybe we'll start like a thread in the new page that I started for you guys and just kind of share each other's little snack ideas as we come up with them. I think that would be cool if you guys are down to add to that as you make them. Okay, I'll put that thread up later. But yeah, have a backup plan for sure. Now, something that I encourage you guys to try, even if you hate shirataki, the noodles, the shirataki noodles, it's either you love them or they hate them. It's a texture thing. I know that it's not pasta. I've been gluten-free for years because of my stomach. So for me, I don't even remember the last time I've had Italy. My honeymoon in Italy in July was the last time I had pasta. But shirataki rice, on the other hand, a lot of people who hate the texture of shirataki noodles actually like the shirataki rice. So keep that in mind. Now that brings me to the last thing of the evening, and then anything else you guys can definitely comment in the chat or on the page or whatever, is the surprise prize that I'm doing. So I sent out, to anybody who wanted it, inspired by my 5 days for Miss Rachel over here. I did the 5 days of 30 minutes or under dinner meals. If you guys take pictures of your meals, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember the hashtag, but I'll put it in the chat, and post it in the Chronic Confidence Mindset group that I tagged you in that video before we had our call, before you even joined. If you can just take a picture of your food and post it in there with that hashtag, I will give you an entry in for a surprise prize, which will include a shopping spree to my favorite low-carb website ever. Like, they literally have everything. It's amazing. And I forgot, I got you guys something else. Oh, and matcha green tea, which I love. And it helps a lot with hormone balancing. So post that. I have to go look up what the hell that hashtag is because I forget. I'll tell you guys it. You take a picture of your food, put it up in the Chronic Confidence Mindset group with the hashtag, and you'll get an entry. And we'll stop doing that at the end of the month. So if you guys have a hard time like getting right onto it and doing the meals or whatever right away, don't worry about it. You're not late to the game. You can still do it just as long as you do before the end of this month. Any questions?
What is the low carb website that you're talking about?
I after I finished saying it, I was like, I probably should have just told them what it was. Netrition.com. So it's NETRITION. And it's the best. They like when I ordered from them, because I'm partial to Amazon forever. I'm a big Prime member, but like I'm not a big Prime member. I'm Prime fan. What the hell, Prime member. It might be. We get a lot of packages, but Nutrition has so much more stuff. It's insane. Cookies, cakes, jams, baking mixes, pastas, rices. The shirataki rice that I was just talking about they have it on there, and the prices are actually better than Amazon. The shipping only took 3 days, and I got free shipping over $50. So I'm obsessed with it. It's the greatest website ever. I should get royalties for how often I recommend it. I swear to God.
Do you have like a food store that you could go to in person that you recommend that would have a lot more of like the low carb options?
Most grocery stores are kind of up and coming now. I know, surprisingly enough, Walmart is like rolling out a bunch of low carb stuff, which is like not what you'd expect. But
because I know Wegmans has a good one, like a good section that I try to like use. But I wasn't sure if there was any others.
Yeah, Wegmans is good. Whole Foods, super expensive, like ridiculous. I love Whole Foods, but I sometimes love just to go walk around and pretend like I'm okay with spending the amount of money that they charge for things, and I just leave. But like Trader Joe's is really good too, and they're inexpensive. And then just most supermarkets, you can go from there. I can't wait till we can get a low carb grocery store. Oh my God. That would be amazing. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but that would be amazing. So, okay. We're going to hop off of here for tonight. But I'm going to post that hashtag for the 5 days, food challenge in the group chat. I'm going to post this recording in the new group page, and I'm going to add you guys to it once I add some other stuff so I don't blow up your notifications. All right. But if you have any questions or you need some more support on something, I want to help everybody in our community get closer. So I encourage you to share in our group chat as much as possible, but reach out to me if you need anything. And as soon as I'm able to answer you guys, I will make sure that I do. And let's rock it out. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Michelle, bye.